take a look at this. Tamika Catchings and Shamik Holslaw joining USA Network's WNBA broadcast team that is led. This is led by Kate Scott. She's going to be the lead play-by-play, which is good. Okay, so there's no more of these. We getting rid of these haters one by one. Once we clean up that ESPN crew, once we clean up some of them people, we might be good to go in every.
Something unusual is happening around Caitlin Clark. For nearly 2 years, Caitlin Clark has been the center of every major conversation in women's basketball. Caitlin Clark transformed television ratings. Caitlin Clark transformed attendance. Caitlin Clark transformed merchandise sales. Yet despite Caitlin Clark delivering unprecedented attention to the league, many fans believed that some of the loudest voices covering the sport seemed uncomfortable with Caitlin Clark's impact. Now, a new broadcasting shakeup has many viewers asking the same question. Is the WNBA quietly changing the people who get to tell the story of Caitlin Clark? The timing is impossible to ignore. As the league enters a new era of television contracts, media partnerships, and historic financial opportunities, the value of every broadcast suddenly matters more than ever. Every analyst matters, every commentator matters, every halftime discussion matters, because when Caitlin Clark is on the floor, millions of people are watching. For WNBA owners, this is no longer simply about opinions. This is about business. The league spent years searching for mainstream relevance. Then Caitlin Clark arrived and accelerated everything overnight. New fans entered the sport. Casual viewers became regular viewers. Arenas filled up. National conversations exploded. But alongside the growth came controversy. Many Caitlin Clark supporters felt that certain broadcasters focused more on criticizing Caitlin Clark than celebrating the extraordinary attention Caitlin Clark was bringing to the league. Now new broadcast hires are arriving. New voices are being added. Old controversies are being left behind. And for the first time, many fans believe WNBA owners may finally be responding to the audience that Caitlin Clark helped create. What happens next could completely reshape how Caitlin Clark is covered throughout the entire season.
Arena being one of the biggest haters and most jealous old heads around. We also had Cheryl Swoops, who was a broadcast announcing partner or whatever for the Dallas Wings games when Caitlin Clark came to town to play the Wings, and she was doing biased, nasty broadcasts. And she ended up getting removed. Because it was nasty, it was negative, and it.
Long before Caitlin Clark played her first professional game, the debate had already started. Caitlin Clark entered the WNBA carrying expectations rarely seen in modern sports. Every arena wanted Caitlin Clark. Every network wanted Caitlin Clark. Every headline featured Caitlin Clark, but with unprecedented attention came resistance. As Caitlin Clark's popularity exploded, certain media personalities became lightning rods for controversy. Every critical remark about Caitlin Clark generated immediate reactions from fans. Every debate surrounding Caitlin Clark seemed to grow larger than the game itself. The situation became especially significant because television coverage helps shape public perception. When viewers tune in to watch Caitlin Clark, they expect analysis. They expect insight. They expect fairness. Instead, many Caitlin Clark supporters felt they were hearing narratives that focused more on diminishing Caitlin Clark's achievements than explaining them. Whether those criticisms were fair or not almost became secondary. The bigger issue was audience reaction. Fans began discussing broadcasts as much as games. Fans began criticizing analysts as much as opponents. Fans began questioning whether coverage of Caitlin Clark reflected what they were actually watching on the court. That is a dangerous place for any league to find itself. Because when viewers stop trusting the broadcast, they stop engaging with the product. WNBA owners understand that reality. Television partners understand that reality. And most importantly, advertisers understand that reality. The arrival of Caitlin Clark created enormous opportunities, but it also exposed weaknesses in how the league communicated with its audience. Now, as new broadcast teams are assembled, the message appears clear. The focus is shifting toward personalities who can analyze the game, connect with fans, and avoid becoming the story themselves. For Caitlin Clark, that could mean a dramatically different media environment moving forward.
Remember during Caitlin Clark's rookie season when people said they were turning off the halftime show because they didn't want to hear all the haters that was on the broadcast team? They saw that that dip. So they are trying to add more unbiased and positive people. Okay. Catchings, who previously worked for ESPN's SEC network, will call games as an analyst with Scott and Megan McPeak. Okay. Hoslaw played in the WNBA.
The most fascinating part of this entire situation is that it extends far beyond Caitlin Clark. This is about how modern sports leagues survive. Previous generations relied on local coverage and niche audiences. Today's leagues depend on national attention, social media engagement, and viral moments. Caitlin Clark represents all three. Every deep three from Caitlin Clark becomes a highlight. Every assist from Caitlin Clark becomes a discussion. Every game involving Caitlin Clark becomes content. That creates enormous pressure on broadcasters. The people covering Caitlin Clark are no longer speaking only to longtime WNBA fans. They are speaking to millions of newcomers who discovered the league because of Caitlin Clark. Those viewers arrive with different expectations. They want balance. They want energy. They want analysis that matches what they see on the floor. The league's new broadcast hires suggest an awareness of that challenge. Instead of leaning into controversy, the focus appears to be shifting toward experience, credibility, and basketball expertise. That matters because perception influences everything. It influences sponsorships. It influences television ratings. It influences future media rights negotiations. And it influences whether casual viewers become lifelong fans. Historically, major sports leagues eventually adapt to their biggest stars. The NBA adapted around Michael Jordan. The NBA adapted around LeBron James. The NFL adapted around Patrick Mahomes. Now the WNBA is confronting its own version of that challenge with Caitlin Clark. The question is not whether Caitlin Clark is important to league growth. The question is how the league chooses to present Caitlin Clark to the audience that keeps showing up to watch. These broadcasting changes may be the strongest indication yet that WNBA leadership understands the stakes.
And I think adding Tamika Catchings is definitely going to soothe some of the hate that be going on, okay? Because, you know, dealing with Renee Montgomery and Elle Duncan, it's a lot. It's a lot, like, having to listen to them. Yeah, I'm just being honest with y'all. It'd be a lot. So, getting in some neutral voices, some positive voices that aren't going to be all, you know how they get. You know how they get. That is not.
The real story may not be about commentators at all. The real story is money, huge money. The WNBA is entering one of the most important business periods in league history. New television agreements are creating opportunities that previous generations could only imagine. Every additional viewer matters. Every advertiser matters. Every ratings spike matters, and no player currently moves those numbers more consistently than Caitlin Clark. That reality places enormous pressure on everyone involved. Owners want growth, networks want viewers, sponsors want visibility, fans want authenticity. Caitlin Clark sits directly at the center of all four objectives. That is why these broadcasting decisions feel larger than ordinary personnel changes. The league cannot afford unnecessary divisions between its broadcasts and its audience. The league cannot afford viewers feeling disconnected from coverage. The league cannot afford distractions when the opportunity for growth is this large. Adding respected basketball voices creates stability. Adding experienced former players creates credibility. Adding personalities capable of connecting with both longtime fans and new Caitlin Clark viewers creates opportunity. And that opportunity could define the next decade of women's basketball. Because if Caitlin Clark continues driving audience growth while the league improves the viewing experience, the ceiling becomes almost impossible to measure. The next phase of the WNBA may not be built solely on what Caitlin Clark does on the court. It may also be built on how effectively the league tells Caitlin Clark's story. That is why these changes matter. That is why fans are paying attention. And that is why this broadcasting shakeup could become one of the most important off-court developments of the entire season.